Corinthians 11, 3 through 4 says, "But I am afraid that, even as the serpent deceived Eve by his craftiness, your minds will be led astray from the simplicity and purity of devotion to Christ. For if one comes and preaches another Jesus whom you have not preached, or who you receive a different spirit for which you have not received, or a different gospel which you have not accepted, you bear this beautifully." Well, if you're joining us in reading through this 90-day reading plan, today's reading is 2 Corinthians chapter 11. I encourage you to read that passage. We all tend to like new things. I myself have a brand new computer that was purchased because my old computer didn't seem to have the right stuff. It's not that I lusted terrifically but long for this new computer. It's just I wanted something that was better, faster, easier to use than my old one. Could I have done similar things with the old computer that I did with the new? Yes. But this one was new and it was kind of flashy. But we cannot be so quick to change our relationship to Christ or how we approach Him and fellowship with Him. I was recently reading that if we were going to attract a millennial and stop losing Gen X's, then we were going to have to change the way we present Christ. That, frankly, is patently false. Christ does not depend on pop culture. That does not mean that we present Christ as being irrelevant to culture. What it does mean is we don't change Christ just because culture demands it. I regularly hear people say, we don't like to be like so-and-so church, or I hear them say, we need to be like so-and-so church if we're going to bring people to our church. Well, we have to be relevant. We don't have to change. Relevance does not depend on change. Relevance depends on the way Christ affects your life. Some people like modern church music. Some people like Beethoven. It's not the issue. The issue is the underlying worship. Someone cannot be worshiping in the midst of confusion. Paul is very clear on that when he wrote in 1 Corinthians that women were to ask their husbands questions at home, not because they weren't allowed to speak in church, but because they were yelling across the aisles from one another. When worship becomes entertainment, worship is no longer worship. There is something to be said for structured liturgical worship. There's something also to be said for the freedom to be free. But both must be evaluated through the glasses of worshiping Christ and bringing Him glory.